the 20, 10, 5, Torrey Horton back to the end zone.
28-yard play. Guess who? Body up the middle, making another move to the outside. 15, 10, end zone again.
Keeps it. Nice move by Brown. He's got space. He's got 6. 35-yard touchdown for Byron Brown. A record-setting night for the South Florida quarterback.
Down so far, a little bit of a high snap. Genty right up the middle. Genty has room. Ashton Genty, give him 6.
Second and long. Lagar tries to pin it in. Runnels, it does. Runnels stays up. The Suns offense 4-3 wins. Incredible effort for Royals.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive Live. We are excited to bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I am Luke, and I'm joined by my co-host, Justice. Hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. And don't forget, G5 Hive merchandise store is now live. Link is in the YouTube video comments, as well as pinned on our X page.
There you go, right there. I just, matter of fact, I just put it on the bottom of the video. So it's, if you want some merch, you can go to that link below. It's on the X page, and it's now in the video comments as well.
What are the good stuff? What's the nectar for this week? Week 9 in review. We've got midweek G5 matchups. Sam Houston at Florida International. In this one, Justice, you got eyes on it. Sam Houston wins an ugly one, 10-7.
Yeah, it was a super ugly game. It was not very entertaining. As I said earlier, Keon Jenkins, the Florida National quarterback, got pulled or was hurt or whatever. He was 1 for 9 at that point for 16 yards, so he wasn't setting the world on fire. Chaden Perry came in to play quarterback, so it was rough for Florida International. And then Sam Houston was without Hunter Watson. Jace Bauer played quarterback. He didn't look great either. Kind of the big play in the game was Sam Houston got a blocked punt. They initially said it was a touchdown, but it wasn't. He was down at the 1 yard line, 2 yard line. But anyway, they were able to punch that in and get that touchdown there. And then a field goal to win 10-7. They did miss 2 other field goals. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Billy. That was a super rough game to watch. Both the games on Tuesday night were pretty rough games. It was not quality football by any stretch of the imagination.
And Justice, have you seen anything about Hunter Watson? I mean, obviously he missed that game. Do we expect him back this week? We didn't talk about him in the news and notes section, but
yeah, I think Hunter Watson should be expected to play this week against. They play. No, it's not Liberty. I'm not sure they play this week, but I do expect Hunter Watson to be back.
All right, and then we had UTEP at Louisiana Tech. That was also a Tuesday night game. Louisiana Tech wins 14-10.
Yes.
Javon Jackson has another big game. 22 carries, 112 yards, and Bullock there for Louisiana Tech had 248 yards passing and a touchdown.
Yeah, Javon Jackson kind of was the highlight of the game. As I mentioned earlier, UTEP quarterback Skylar Locklear got knocked out by that vicious hit by Zach Zemos. And then J.P. Pickles came in, and J.P. Pickles was not very good. So again, another ugly game on a Tuesday night. Hopefully that trend will go away this week.
All right, and then we had the big game. We all knew coming into it was going to be a great one on Wednesday. Liberty at Kennesaw State, in which we saw Kennesaw State pull the upset, 27-24. Salter led the Flames in rushing and obviously passing. He threw for 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, had 9 carries for 87 yards. But Robinson, wide receiver there for Kennesaw State, had 72 yards on 3 receptions. He was the leading wide receiver in the game. I tuned in here and there, and then I was like, oh, well, like, it's a matter of time before Liberty gets it going. And then it's
Never got
been
it
the
going.
story all season. Like, this is kind of what Liberty does, is they keep it close, and they're always able to pull it out in the end. And this time they didn't.
Yeah. They, I mean, it was such a big win for Kennesaw State. They rushed the field twice.
That's right. Yeah, they lost. And
But
they were
yeah,
so nice going off the field. They like knew how big it was. They're like, all right, let's get off the field real quick.
yeah. I thought that was going to be a mess at the end. Like there was 1 second left, and they were pretty clear. But then they called it game, and then they went back and said, "Oh no, there's 1 second left. Please clear the field." And to my surprise, they were able to do that in a fairly short time frame. Yeah, Liberty hasn't. I don't know. Liberty hasn't been impressive all year. Like I said, we've talked about before. They should have lost in Mexico State earlier in the year, in my opinion. I certainly didn't expect them to lose to Kennesaw State, though. The Kennesaw State offense, that was I would be willing to bet their best game by far this season.
Wasn't
It was
Liberty
at home.
coming off the bye too?
Liberty, well, they're coming off like really a double bye, I believe, right? Because the app game got canceled. Maybe there was a game in between. Maybe I have that. Maybe I have that mixed up. But
Yeah,
nonetheless, they at most they've only played like every other week for the last month because the app game got canceled. So they should have been well rested. Now that could explain maybe why they didn't play as well, because they just hadn't been playing. But I mean, they should have beat Kennesaw State. But yeah, kudos to Kennesaw State. The winless taking down the undefeated.
All right. And then I don't know. We probably should just skip over this game. Nothing really happened on Thursday. Right? So Justice, you were there.
Oh no, we didn't get to the other Wednesday game.
Sorry. Middle Tennessee, Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State pulls out the win 42-20. Nicholas Vadiato leads UTSA or MTSU, sorry, with passing 297 yards passing for 2 touchdowns. Stewart, a beast on the ground, 210 yards rushing and a touchdown. And then Omari Kelly, 8 receptions, 128 yards receiving. This is a high-scoring game. But
it wasn't much of a game. I mean, Jacksonville State just ran all over Middle Tennessee, man. Like it wasn't a close game at all.
We had some Andrew Paul sightings, Georgia transfer. So
yeah, it was Jacksonville State looked great. Middle Tennessee, not so much.
All right. Thursday night, big game. Syracuse went to Pittsburgh. Oh, no? Okay, Georgia Southern, ODU. ODU, big game, for the Sun Belt there. ODU gets a win, 47-19. Take it away, Justice.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was military appreciation night. They had a flyover. They had some military members there. They had some military folks on the run out for the team. At halftime, they had a drone show, and it was the guys that did the drones on America's Got Talent. And I've never seen a drone show before. That was freaking awesome. I posted some pictures from it from my personal account. I don't think I posted those pictures from the G5 Hive account. But yeah, like I said, the band was playing. They played all the military fight songs, and they had a helicopter for the Marines. They had a cutter for the Coast Guard, a fighter jet for the Air Force. They had the state of Virginia outlined with 757, which is the area code. But probably like the coolest thing was they had an American Eagle that was looked like a normal eagle, and then it changed colors, red, white, and blue. But the coolest thing was they had ODU's mascot, Big Blue, and the drones, and then it spelled ODU underneath. That was probably like the coolest thing I thought. But yeah, it was a great show. And then Thursday night prime time, ESPN2 battle for first place in the Sun Belt East. Yeah, it was an exciting game if you're an Old Dominion fan. Old Dominion just took them to the woodshed, buddy. Like they and I hate to admit this as an Old Dominion fan, but I was a little nervous after halftime because we've been known to blow some big leads before. We were up 28-0 in the bowl game and ended up losing. And so I was a little bit nervous, as we went to the second half. And Georgia Southern got the ball first, and we proceeded to intercept them and get a touchdown. So that kind of allayed my fears. I mean, it was one of the most complete games I've seen Old Dominion play in a long time. Colton Joseph played phenomenal. I mean, his stat line, 20 for 26, pretty freaking awesome. But I'm going to tell you, like, there's at least 2 passes I know he wished he had back. They would have gone for touchdowns. He overthrew a receiver that was wide open twice. But yeah, great, just a great game all around. I was so jacked up. I don't think I went to bed till like 3 a.m. My voice was a little bit hoarse the next day. But yeah, just a great game. And the post game, got to ask my second question. So Colton Joseph was in there in the post game presser, and I played a clip earlier of the particular play, but this was his 30-yard touchdown run. The cornerback, he showed the blitz like super early. Why he did that, I don't know, but the cornerback kind of showed that he was planning on blitzing fairly early as they're getting ready to hike the ball. And so I asked Colton about that particular play, if he could walk us through it. And so I'll play that clip right here. Colton, walk us through that touchdown run on the cornerback blitz.
Yeah, so saw them blitz in the right side, floated or moved the back over there, was going to read him. They flipped it as soon as I did that, so I knew I was hot off the left edge, and he came in full steam ahead. I thought if I pull this here, he's too far downhill for him to retrace, and it was just green grass from there.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
So that was his explanation of the play. That was the play there once again. And shout out to the ODU Monarchists. They videotaped those post games. So I was able to pull that clip from that video. So shout out to them for providing those post game videos.
And then, not to be outdone, but like the big game.
It was the G5 game of the week. No doubt.
But going into it, the game of the week we thought was going to be Boise State and UNLV.
Well, I'm saying Boise State UNLV was the game of the week, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that lived up to the hype. That was a good game overall. Boise State wins 29-24. I think you had mentioned you thought UNLV would.
I did.
Maddox Madsen was able to do just good enough. 209 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Genty was human with 128 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Yeah. Ricky White pretty much held in check too for UNLV.
The story of that game and why Boise State won that game was their pass rush. Their pass rush won them that game. UNLV had 0 answers for that pass rush, and that's what cost them the game. I was not aware of how good that Boise State pass rush has been. They talked about it in the broadcast. I think they have the most sacks in all of football, definitely in the G5. And I was just not, I don't know. I'd watched them play, but I just was not aware of how great that pass rush has been. And it's not just one person. It's like a collective group. And UNLV had 0 answers for that. And so I for one, am super excited to see part 2 and to see what adjustments UNLV can make to kind of help with that pass rush. I'm going to assume they're both going to play each other in the Mountain West Championship. At that point, I want to see Boise State win, though, right? Because if UNLV wins, then it just kind of messes things up in terms of rankings and the playoffs and all that. And so at this point, like I'm hoping Boise State can go undefeated, but UNLV, like I say, UNLV can give them a run for the money, but they're going to have to solve that pass rush.
All right, in our G5 P4 matchup, we had number 12 Notre Dame taking on number 24 Navy. This game wasn't particularly close, mainly due to some turnovers. Justice, you got to watch. I was at a kids' basketball event, so I did not get to watch much of this, which, looking at highlights, there weren't a lot.
Navy shot themselves in the foot. They had two fumbles, and then they muffed a punt that was recovered by Notre Dame. And so before you know it, I think they're down 28-7. And Navy just isn't built to come back down 28-7. Their defense, they were able to run the ball on Notre Dame, but their defense was not able to do much with that Notre Dame offense. So yeah, it wasn't. I had high hopes, thought it'd be a better game, but with when those 3 turnovers happened and Notre Dame turned those into points, I knew it was kind of over at that point. I didn't watch the second half. I watched till halftime, and then I think it was 28-7 at halftime. Might have been 35-7. I'm not sure, but yeah, I knew it was over at that point.
I mean, kind of just highlights someone just like being more athletic. And then obviously the service academies are different with like, hey, to be in the Army, to be in the Navy, to be in the Air Force, you have to be a certain size. Obviously, I mean, we will see how Navy or how Army fares this week, but that was on display of that difference there. All right. Featured G5 matchups. We had Buffalo at Ohio. Buffalo loses this one. It was 47-16. Ricky Hunt got the start. He had 9 carries, 89 yards, 1 touchdown. You had Owen with a big game for Ohio, 6 receptions for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. I did not get eyes on this one. Were you able to watch this at all?
I did not. I know Shea Taylor had a big game for the Ohio defense.
Yep.
Parker Navarro had a big game. Parker Navarro, like when he doesn't get yanked for turnovers, he can produce. He's got. I think he even had turnover in this game, but yeah, I mean Ohio just kind of looked like the much better team than Buffalo. Buffalo's kind of been weird. Like they've been very up and down. But Ohio got the best of them in this game.
And then we had Tulane at North Texas. Tulane wins 45-37. I got to watch a little bit of this, but not a whole bunch. But the score is actually closer than the game actually was. They're in the last, I don't know, 5-6 drives. North Texas scores 13 points at the end of the game to bring it closer, but they were just trying to run it out. I mean, there was Mekhi Hughes there, and then they just had a lot of 3 and outs, but it was mainly just like, hey, let's get this game over. North Texas made it. So if you're just box score and you're not actually watching the game, like, oh, that was a close one, North Texas.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was never really in doubt. I don't think Tulane was clearly the better team.
I mean, Morris, unbelievable game, 449 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. DT Sheffield, 9 receptions, 125 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown. And then my player of the week, Mekhi Hughes, had 30 carries for 195 yards and a touchdown, 8 yards receiving. He got him over that 200 mark. He was on track as soon as that game started. Like he was probably close to 100, if not over 100, like in the first quarter. Like he was awesome. Central Michigan at Miami of Ohio. I got to watch this game. Miami of Ohio wins 46-7. I watched on and off in the second half because it was a trouncing, like 46-7. It wasn't even that close. Watching it, Miami of Ohio just was dominant, and the fact that they're 4-4 is wild to me. They're 3-1 in MAC play, but that was it was a dominant performance. Bowling Green at Toledo. This was a great game.
It was a great game.
I got to watch all of this game. Obviously, had my defensive player of the week in here, but Bowling Green wins 41-26.
And that interception, like you said, that was the turning point of that game. Like
Toledo
Toledo was driving and had a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that's why I highlighted that like scenario, because like they just got a touchdown, a 3-and-out, just get a first down, and if that interception doesn't happen and they go down and then they take the lead, like I think that was just a momentum shift, and kind of helped keep Bowling Green on top. Tucker Gleason comes back from his week absence, 320 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Stewart for Bowling Green had 99 yards rushing and a touchdown. And Newton for Toledo had 164 yards on 9 receptions for 2 touchdowns.
I think Harold didn't get 100, but I think he had 74 and a touchdown. I think that's what he ended up with. Still a good game, and I think he ran the ball 1 or 2 times as well.
Yep, he did. Let's see here. Another game that we had on our Saturday featured G5 matchups was New Mexico at Colorado State. New Mexico falls in this one 17-6. Avery
It was
Mara.
a disappointing game.
I thought New Mexico was gonna win this one. I really did. Dampier had 319 yards passing, no touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions. Luke Wysong getting hurt obviously kind of changed a little bit of this, but Avery Morrow, even like I thought he would run for more because they've kind of switched up what they're doing. They're passing a lot.
Colorado State has absolutely remolded their offense.
So he had 16 carries for 89 yards. I did not see this one coming. I thought New Mexico could have pulled this one out.
I thought we'd see more points. I mean, there was a call in the game that like they reviewed it and they overturned the call on the field, which I thought was the wrong decision. It was an option play with Dampier. He flipped it out, and they ended up calling it a forward pass. And it did not look not even close to a forward pass to me. It looked pretty clearly behind. I don't know if they had a better angle than what they showed on TV or better camera angle, but for them to overturn it, I'm assuming they must have, because it certainly didn't look like a forward pass to me. And that was a big call in the game. But yeah, it was not the game I had expected when I tuned in. I expected a lot more offense than what we got.
And then flip side, a game that I didn't think was going to be like super high scoring was Louisiana Monroe versus South Alabama. The Louisiana Monroe defense has been like lights out this year. And then South Alabama's just kind of been like inconsistent. They seem to be like this engine. If I had to best describe it, it's like this engine that like has a piston that keeps misfiring. That's like it like he'll have this hiccup every so often. But yeah, I gotta watch a little bit of this one, and South Alabama rolls 46-17.
They ran all over
backs. He had Fluff and Bullock with over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pritchett 11 receptions for 89 yards. Lopez 169 yards passing. It was South Alabama was
a bit of a shocker.
I mean, a big game too, because that win for South Alabama, the loss for UL Monroe. Both teams are now 3-1 in the Sun Belt.
Big log jam in the West.
So, then San Jose State, Fresno State. I'm not sure if you were able to watch any of this. I got to watch a little bit of this, and it was gross. Fresno State win
It was ugly watching it too, because they both were. Fresno State was in all black, and San Jose State wore white shirts with black pants. It was not a visually pleasing game, in my opinion.
Fresno State wins 33-10. Mikey Keene has a pretty big game, 275 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Floyd Chalk with an 89 yards rushing, and then Justin Lockhart. Ever since the change at quarterback, he's been getting his numbers boosted. He had 4 receptions for 93 yards, and we'll be revisiting Justin Lockhart a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what San Jose State's doing, because like Walker Egan, like whenever I watch him, he ain't it, man. He ain't got it, buddy. And maybe Emmett Brown has some faults, but the offense looked a lot more effective, looked a lot better when he's been leading the helm. And once again, head coach, we'll just call him Ken. Head coach Ken Nauma Talalolo made a comment about we got to stop switching quarterbacks. Well, I feel like we've heard that comment from him like the last 3 or 4 weeks. Like, okay, you're the head coach. Do something about it, buddy, right? Like, stop telling us you got to stop doing it, and then you keep doing it. I just do not understand what has gone on to make Emmett Brown like so dispensable, I guess. The offense just looks so much better when he's running it than when Walker gets running it. So I don't know.
You want to talk about a maddening offense. Nevada at Hawaii. Hawaii wins 34-13. Hawaii gets their first win in the Mountain West. Nevada obviously did not have Lewis there.
Yeah.
Pretty start. They fall. They're now 0-3 in the Mountain West. And just like we all wrote it up, Braden Shager was going to have 4 rushing touchdowns, 120 yards rushing. We all saw that coming.
It was just the Hawaii run. It was not the Hawaii run and shoot. There was a lot of running by Hawaii in this game, not much passing. Did Shager even throw for 100 yards? I don't know that he did, but maybe he did.
Let me pull up the box score here.
My gut says he threw for like 96 or something.
He threw for 153 and an interception.
Yeah, it was not a run and shoot. It was the Hawaii run offense. Not an exciting game to watch. I stayed up and watched it. I don't think it ended till 2 a.m, maybe later. But yeah. Did not expect to see, like you said, Shager running it in for 4 touchdowns. But hey, they got the win, and that's what matters, right?
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Come back and join us next week as we discuss what happened in Week 10, as well as look forward to Week 11 of the 2024 season. And as always, we bring you up to date on all the latest news and happenings in the world of G5 college football. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a retweet, a like, and a follow. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please subscribe and give those 5-star ratings and reviews. Again, Justice has it. If you're watching us on YouTube, the G5 Hive merch store, you can find all of our stuff there. If you want to support us, go buy some merch, support G5 Hive. Thank you all for your support. Until the next time, we are the G5 Hive.